Alright guys, welcome back to another Fortnite video, and in this one, it is time to talk about a bunch of different things actually. Mainly some update stuff, but we're also going to be going over a quick little guide to give you some tips for completing the Golden Ice Brute challenge. I know that challenge is pretty tough, and since it's kind of part of an update, I mean that challenge did release yesterday, so we'll go over a few tips and tricks for that challenge, as well as other things like a bunch of vaulted weapons, changes to drop rate things, just a bunch of interesting stuff in this new sneaky Snowman update. Now real quick before we get into it guys, I want to quickly update you on my affiliate gamer link. They just recently had a big update to their app, and you guys may know that it's a free app for iOS and Android that has been great for helping players to find people to play with, but they recently added new sections. Like first of all, there is a hub section, so if you want to check out like the Fortnite hub, maybe post a discussion about skins or something, or you can maybe check out the clans feature as well, where you can, well, join clans and talk with people through those. So yeah guys, if you want to check that out, there will be a link down below in the description. I've been affiliated with them for a while, and it's seriously an awesome app. But yeah guys, be sure to leave a like down below if you are hyped for this update, and also comment down below how many Golden Ice Brutes have you been able to find so far. I'm curious to see, so comment that down below. But yeah, first of all, let's get into some update news here, and start it off with a pretty interesting one, and that is actually a change to, well, potions. Granted, it's not like to how they work or stuff like that. It is actually a change to the drop rate of potions, which is definitely an interesting change here, because whereas one got an increased drop rate, the other one got a lessened drop rate. So yeah, first of all, let's talk about the shield potion, the regular one, the one that grants you 50 shield when you use one. So first with that, they said that they reduced drop chance from floor loot from 16.53% to 13.22%. So yeah guys, according to this, you will be seeing them most likely a little bit less, but that's not the only thing they changed about it. They also reduced drop chance from 14.26% to 9.51%. So that change came as a little bit of a surprise to me, because I don't feel you see shield potions that much, and I feel like other people were saying that they don't see a ton of shield potions as well. So I did find that, you know, a little bit interesting, but we'll have to see how it plays out. Maybe it'll feel better, because it kind of goes hand in hand with this other change here, which happens to small shield potions. So for these, they increased drop chance from floor loot from 13.22% to 16.53%. So it actually kind of switched with the shield potions a bit. Whereas the shield potion used to be 16.53% and then got reduced. Now the small shield potion is up to 16.53%. And that's actually kind of similar to the drop chance from chests as well, because they increased drop chance from chests from 9.51% to 14.26%. So basically they switched up the drop chances to make small shield potions a little bit more common, and then make the regular shield potions a little bit less common. So pretty interesting right there. Now then after that guys, let's discuss the vaulted weapons and items. We have 3 of them here, and these are some very interesting ones. I'm really curious to see how this will affect gameplay and stuff like that. But can you guys guess which items and stuff they are? Well, let's start off with a good one right here. The first of which is the Porta Fortress. That is right guys, the Porta Fortress is now vaulted. I believe it still shows up in like creative and stuff like that, if it follows like how, you know, previous items that were vaulted were in those modes, generally like creative and playground. I think it might be in playground, you know what, I'm not 100% sure, but in the main game modes, the Porta Fortress has been vaulted. Now this one kind of makes sense. I mean, it wasn't like a super overpowered item, kind of made for some interesting battles and stuff like that, but I could see, you know, not a ton of people picking it up, so that could have maybe led to part of why it was vaulted. But yeah, I'm curious to see, do you guys like this item? Are you surprised it's vaulted? Whatever it is, leave it down below in the comments. But let's move on here to the second item that was vaulted, and this one is actually a weapon, and that guys is the quad launcher. This one I found a little bit surprising as well, because again, I felt like this item was a little bit in the middle. It wasn't like a crazy good item, it wasn't a crazy bad item, it was just something in the middle that could be useful in certain situations. But I guess when you have the rocket launcher, the regular one, I would prefer to pick that up when I ever ran into one of these and had to choose. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting change. I guess you won't like get your builds destroyed by the quad launcher if your enemy has one. So for sure, it's a unique change. I'm interested to see how that will affect gameplay, but not quite as interested as this next item here. I think this one is, you know, the most interesting of the vaulted items that they chose to, you know, vault in this update. But the item I am talking about here is the grappler. That is right guys, this item is one that, you know, is pretty unique, and it has been in the game for a while now. So a little bit crazy to see it being vaulted. Time really does fly, I guess. But yeah, with this one, I could see why it was vaulted, because I mean, it is a bit hard to defend against when you're like up in a build and somebody can just grapple up top and switch switch to their shotgun right away and, you know, deal damage to you pretty easily. I mean, you can put like a wall or maybe a floor piece to try and block them off, but that, you know, you have to do it pretty fast. And they also have multiple attempts to try and get up to you. So yeah, again, it's kind of one of those items that's in the middle, but I guess it's going to be a little bit nice not having to worry about people, you know, grappling up to your base. And then after that, guys, let's real quick go over the sneaky snowman and how exactly they work. So yeah, the sneaky snowman is definitely a pretty interesting item. But yeah, guys, if you haven't been able to try these out, basically when you have them, they drop in stacks of 5 and they can stack up to 10. And also they are common rarity. So something to keep in mind there. And I guess you can also find them in floor loot, chests, and supply llamas, just so you guys are aware. But yeah, there's 2 main ways to use this item. The first of which, if you use like your primary fire, whatever button that is, you can throw them and it creates a snowman on the map as sort of like a distraction. So you can toss these around and maybe if somebody's like chasing you, it may distract them quite a bit. But then on top of that, you can also use your secondary fire button to wear the snowman. Now, when you're wearing this, there's a couple things to keep in mind. The first of which is that you can't pull out your weapon because if you switch, it breaks the snowman. So basically, it's a good way to just, you know, sneak around and then you can switch and pop out if you want to attack somebody. Now, with that being said, when you have one of these on, it has 100 health and acts as a shield to block damage, which is for sure pretty interesting there. Now, on top of that, when you are wearing one of these, you cannot build either. So you are fully just, you know, sneaking around the map. So overall, guys, it's a very interesting item and those are the specifics about it, just so you guys are fully aware of how it works. After that, then though, let's go over my sort of mini guide for how to make it easier to complete the Golden Ice Brutes challenge, or just some tips overall for this one, also including how to maybe increase your chances of finding them, because definitely, guys, it is a tough challenge because these guys are fairly hard to find. However, I've got some tips here to help you get done with this challenge a bit easier. So yeah, guys, let's go ahead and jump into it. Obviously, you probably know what the Golden Ice Brutes are. They're those special type of like the Ice Legion, and they are pretty rare in terms of how often they spawn, but I do think I know how to find them a little bit more here. Now, first of all, what about game modes? I'd probably recommend doing whatever you're comfortable with. I mean, if you want to play solo, do that. If you have a squad of teammates to play with, you can go into squads and do it that way, or maybe you want to do solo squads. I will say that it does seem that in squads, it seems like more of the Ice Legion spawn at the spawners, at least like after the first circle goes away, it seems. Now, I don't know if that affects like how many of the Golden Ice Brutes spawn, but just something to keep in mind. However, solo works fine for this if you want to stick to that, and then you don't have to worry about running into squads. But then after that, guys, with the second tip I have for you, it seems that it's most common to find these Golden Ice Brutes in mid to late game. Now, I can't say for sure like that's 100% what happens, and if they 100% spawn more in like mid to late game, but from my experience, that seems to be when you more likely see these. And also, I did a little poll on Twitter, and the vast majority of answers were mid and late game. So I do think that it is more likely to see these at around like the second circle and so forth. I don't know exactly if they get more common like the later you get into a game, the later circles you get into, but I will say that for me, for sure, when it got to like the second circle, that's when I started to see more of these when I was like farming the Ice Legion and stuff like that. Now, I will say that like super late in game with the final circles that move fairly fast maybe isn't the best. I mean, it's going to be pretty hard to fight off the Ice Legion, so probably like mid to early late game is better, I'd think. So with that being said, I think it's better like to take the first circle to find loot to help you better fight the Ice Legion, and also generally it's a good idea to land somewhere a little bit more quiet. But once you get to the second circle, that's generally a good time to start attacking some of the Ice Legion in hopes of finding one of the Golden Ice Brutes. Now, with that being said, when you're going for loot, definitely try to find one of the Fiend Hunter crossbows. This is very, very helpful because for one, obviously it has unlimited ammo. Two, it does a ton of damage to the Ice Legion. And third, which I think is the most important thing, it is super quiet. When you're using a weapon like just a regular AR, other players can hear that from quite a ways away. So if those players know where you are and they come to attack you, you're not going to be able to have much time in that mid to late game. So it's just better to be quiet. So yeah, guys, those are my tips and tricks on how to make this challenge a little bit easier. So hopefully you guys find that helpful. But yeah, guys, let's keep it going here with the next thing I want to talk about. And that is with the vehicles, or not all of the vehicles, only a couple of them, but they did make a change to them a little bit. Similar to the shield potions, this is not a change to how they work, but instead a change to like how often they spawn in game. So obviously vehicles are a little bit different from items because items can spawn in like chests and stuff like that. Imagine a stormwing spawning out of a chest when you open it, just surprising you a ton. But yeah, one of the vehicles that got a spawn rate change is the stormwing. So previously it was at 80%. They actually reduced it before from 100% down to 80%, and now they are reducing it from that 80% down to 50%. So yeah, it's something to keep in mind. Sometimes when you land at a location that may often have stormwings, there's a slight chance that it maybe doesn't have stormwings. Again, each stormwing has a 50% chance to spawn. So you know, math, if there's like 3 possible stormwings, each has 50%, what is the chance of none of them spawning? I don't know, guys. We're not in math class, so let's not figure that out right now. But yeah, that's a good change to take note of for sure. If you drop it somewhere that, you know, usually has stormwings, it's something to keep in mind. But on top of that, they made a change to the spawn chance of quad crashers. Now, this one I found a little bit surprising, but yeah, they changed them from 100% spawn rate before this patch or content update down to 50%. So similar to the stormwings, but that is something to take note of as well. 100% down to 50% definitely is a change you're going to notice most likely. And again, if those are part of your plan, like you drop somewhere and then plan to take the quad crasher, this is something you for sure want to be aware of. But yeah, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more fun videos like this coming out in the near future. On top of that, you can check out some of my previous videos here, such as on the left, going through an awesome theory about the event that happened recently, and then on the right, going through some stuff about the ice storm event and things like that. But other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.